It seems like today, if you want to be in an emo band or around the scene whatsoever, passion, knowledge, and talent don't mean a damn. What really matters is a good resume. So it is paramount that you hire yourself a great career coach to polish up that CV, because today we're diving into the depraved world of corporate emo. But before I start ripping this stuff to shreds, I'm going to share 3 amazing emo bands with you. Equipment, awake but still in bed, home is where. Okay, consider the scales balanced. Time to get gatekeeping. Hey, how's it going? My name is Dan Frampton. I am the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper. Thank you for coming in and kicking back with me here today. And today, I'm going to be talking about all the dark things around corporate emo. But first, I want to shout out Neopunk FM because they did like a little video essay on the topic and kind of nailed it. Knocked it out of the old proverbial park. We're talking about their video, how an entire genre sells out. So if you want more of like a written cohesive kind of thing, maybe check out that video in a little bit. But we're talking When We Were Young. When We Were Young Night 2. Emo Night. Emo's Not Dead. Emo's Not Dead merch. Emo's Not Dead lifestyle brand. Emo's Not Dead coffee. Emo's Not Dead cruise. Emo's Not Dead Vans shoes. When does it end? Is it ever gonna end? Is there a line? Who is gonna cross it the most? No one cares about the bloodshed being spilled all over this floor anymore. Nuh-uh. It's all about the cash. It's all about the bags. It's all about cashing in on that nostalgia. Now that Neopunk FM video that I was talking about made this great comparison that like millennials are just like little pay pigs, alright? They're just paying for their little nostalgia drip hits because they're just like fiending for it. There's definitely a bit of a humiliation fetish going on here. There's gotta be. So what does the landscape of corporate emo look like today? At the very top, we gotta take a look at the Las Vegas, Nevada big time pop punk emo festival When We Were Young. This is kind of the big umbrella under which it all kind of sits, okay? A couple years ago, they had their first one. All these pop punk bands came back. It sold out right away. So they did night 2. Sold out right away, but it was all the same bands. They just did the same show 2 nights back to back. It wasn't like they split the acts or anything like that. They didn't do anything cool or interesting. They just did the same show twice. But it got so many people out there to Las Vegas. So many people into hotel rooms. So many people just like spending money just to go see these pop punk bands that they thought were cool when they were teenagers. But this upcoming year, When We Were Young are making all their bands play one iconic album of theirs all the way from front to back. Except for Fall Out Boy. I think Fall Out Boy is the only one that isn't. Anyway, there's one exception band that isn't like following the gimmick of the year. And the bands are already kind of using that as marketing to get people to come to the show. Like, oh my god, we're playing a whole album from front to back. There's so many album tracks that we've never played live before. So if you want to come out and hear our band play our own material that you've never heard live, come out to When We Were Young. We're going to be playing the whole record from front to back. Isn't that sick? Isn't that totally raw XD random? Wow, much nostalgia. Many nostalgia. And I gotta tell you that these classic emo bands like from the 80s, they hated being called emo. They're like, you guys are emotional hardcore. And then they were like, Wait a second. Isn't all hardcore emotional? Yeah, but you guys are singing about like crying and stuff and not about beating people up. So like, you guys are emotional. Like, all right, well, I guess we're emotional hardcore, but they didn't really like being called emo. And then you fast forward a little bit to like the late 90s, early 2000s, and the emo bands of that time didn't like to be called emo for a couple reasons. First off, it excluded them from the like super popular pop punk that was dominating the mainstream. Because eyeliner and that kind of thing hasn't come into it yet, not until Green Day bust those doors wide open. But before then, all these emo bands are toiling on the underground. And I mean toiling, okay? Because in this scene, the punk scene, the hardcore scene, all these little scenes where emo was like born, they were the outcasts among outcasts. So it's no surprise to me that when those doors would blow wide open for those emo bands, that they would just step on all those scene heads all the way up until they could explode through that glass ceiling and then just create a whole ecosphere for their own selves. And the fact that Vans Warped Tour no longer exists, also feeds into this nostalgia because people can't go get it kind of on a regular basis anymore. They can't get that feeling by just picking up a ticket to Vans Warped Tour and going to it, even though they know all the bands would be different than the ones they grew up with. But all the drama surrounding Warped Tour, I'm glad that it's not around anymore. But because it's not, it's definitely gonna feed into this when we were young kind of hype and overexcitement to just like spend your money on this kind of stuff. And then we gotta talk about the guy, okay? The guy we're here to talk about, the most corporate emo guy out there. This guy is Matt Cutshall, all right? This guy owns the Emo's Not Dead lifestyle brand. But before he was a lifestyle brand owner, he was just a guy making vines back on Vine. And do you remember Vine? Yeah, he was doing 6 seconds of little skits, and he was in and around the same circles of like David Dobrik type people, okay? And then Vine went down years and years ago. Then Matt Cutshall had to reinvent himself, all right? So he created this little emo character, and some of his little videos, some of his little skits from his little emo phase before it like turned into a big lifestyle brand were actually kind of funny. Definitely some good moments in those early clips. But then you started seeing big type bands come into his videos. He started naming his videos all the same sort of thing, and then you sort of started to see this whole brand take form. Here we are. The brand has fully taken form. Emo's Not Dead, all right? Totally, fully, and unashamedly going after the nostalgia of these dumbass millennials, of which I would be one of. And he is on that money hustle. He is out here to get the bag, and you know, that's great, that's fine, that's whatever. But you gotta see through this grift, okay? But as someone that has seen the whole emo arc all the way from the beginnings to now, it is absolutely insane to see how corporate it has got. Because these videos, this clothing line, this lifestyle brand isn't where it ends. No, it's not even close. Of course, there's a brand of coffee to go in your coffee mug. And you know there's a cruise where all these bands will be playing that just played when we were young, but now you can overpay to go see them on the boat in the middle of an ocean somewhere. Isn't that a great idea? And you can't get more corporate or grifty than a cruise. You might as well be selling timeshares at this point. So if next year you start seeing Matt Cutshall out here trying to sell like emo timeshares, you know that Dan Frampton sent you out here giving him ideas. All of that were not the inspiration for this video. The Neopunk FM video, nuh-uh. When we were young, nuh-uh. Matt Cutshall himself, Emo's Not Dead, lifestyle brand, classic emo bands, nuh-uh. None of those were the reasons why I decided to cam up today and talk about this. We crossed a line, okay? We crossed an absolute line, a serious line that I'm not willing to cross with Emo's Not Dead. Okay? We crossed the line into sneaker collaborations. I will not have it, okay? And it's branded as not a collaboration, so I'm confused. Is it a collaboration with Vans? Is it not a collaboration with Vans? Is it official? Is it unofficial? It's kind of listed as both. Maybe it's an art project. Maybe he just bought a bunch of Vans and spray painted them all. I don't think that that's what happened. But I think that's the whole idea of marketing it as unofficial, is to make you think that he's out there DIYing a bunch of Vans sneakers. You know what? Maybe the problem is that I actually do kind of like them. I do kind of like the idea that there is like a Vans collab out there with an emo brand kind of thing. But the fact that there's an emo brand doing a collab over here with Vans, that's where I gotta draw the line, okay? I wish that this was like an actual band that has been repping Vans forever and got like a sponsorship with them, the way that like a skater would get a sponsorship and then they came out with like a collab shoe, you know what I mean? Like a signature series. That would be sick. But the fact that it's a lifestyle brand signature shoe means that it sucks. So that's the big problem with the corporate emo situation right now, and I don't think that it's getting better anytime soon. It looks pretty grim, but on the upside, I hope that it means Johnny Gilbert can make like $100 million. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. That was fun. See you later. Bye for now.